What it is, what it is, what it is. Y'all already know we back again on the track again. They don't like us because we African. Nah, just playing. It's the big boss, how boss dog K poke through the dope. Here to talk this boxing. We got the man. We got the coach. Salute to all our soldiers. Coach
Mm-hmm.
B, aka Brody on the hustle, back. He back
What is
at it
that?
like a crack addict, man.
Yes,
Coach, how you
sir.
been, man? How you been, brother?
Hey, living life, enjoying this H-Town weather. Even
Mm.
though it's been raining lately, I'm back out here. You know what it is, and I'm ready to do what we've been doing. I'm ready to get this train back on track. It's good to be back on here, and I'm ready to talk this boxing. Let's just go ahead and get what we got.
Already, man. We clutched out. You know what we talking about. We talking about that boxing. We're gonna talk about a little bit about Shakur. Man, Shakur, you know, I don't know. You're a little too friendly when it comes to his brothers, but we're gonna discuss that. Black Cobbs, man. He said some things about L. Spence that was shocking. We're gonna discuss that. We're also gonna go over Camille Charlo. He's ducking Bakaram Murtazalov. We're gonna talk about that. And more things to come. So y'all stay tuned. All right, man, we back again, man. We're gonna start this off right. Y'all already know how we do. Shakur Stevenson, man. I mean, to me, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think he a good fighter. Um, Heck of a fighter, talented, but I feel like he in his own way. He was on the Greg Hackett podcast or his YouTube channel. Shout out to Greg Hackett. And Greg Hackett basically um asked him, hey man, you know, you at 135, Keyshawn Davis at 135. You know, Tank out the picture. Would y'all ever fight each other? Matter of fact, don't take my word for it. Just listen to the audio. I'm gonna say with some up and coming talent, and we got guys that we know there. Keyshawn being one of your, that's probably like one of your cool. I mean, your guys. Like, how would that work out if y'all both got titles at 135? Let's say Tank out of the picture. Y'all got titles. How that work out? I ain't even gonna lie. It ain't really like no way me and him gonna fight. Like, we can't really. You gotta realize it's like, you know, everybody look at it a certain way. They're like, oh yeah, you know, well, I'll fight my brother for all that shit sound good. So it's like some real life shit, like my family versus your family, like, and we really come up on some like real brotherly. I'm not trying to now. He got a kid. He been around my daughter. Like, I'm not trying to make his kid cry. He not trying to make my kid cry. And that ain't really like, you know. So that fight ain't really gonna happen. I ain't gonna lie to you. I can't get it too much in detail, but no, you said enough. I feel you. You know what I mean? I'm just. I mean, I'm a little shout out. Something wrong with me, but you know what I mean. I get your point. I ain't nothing wrong with that, and you ain't got to really explain yourself too much. You know what I mean? I asked Broner the same question. Was it ever something? So, Coach, passing the torch to you.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about that statement? Do you feel like Shakur Stevenson statement was something that he needed to say openly? Because that's something he could have kept to himself? Or do you feel like, hey man, dang all that, ain't no friends in boxing. Hey, you if he in the way, you gotta do what you gotta do. Let me know something.
First and foremost, pause no freakies in full effect at this point. I'm not gonna keep stopping to say pause, but at the same time, let's go ahead and get straight to it. I mean, I'm gonna just say this first. I guess the bromance, the brotherly love between Davis and Stevenson is 100% there. It's evident because he's mentioned this several times. There is no way, no how, no if, ands, or buts about it. Me and Keyshawn Davis is just not gonna fight. Now, if he's gonna say that, I'ma say there's no reason to elaborate. Say y'all not gonna fight and leave it at that because him elaborating on the situation the way he's been doing it lately, the articulation of it is not making sense to me. You got kids, he got a kid now, yada 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 XYZ. Okay, bro. When two fighters fight, if I'm not mistaken, both sides of the coin get some type of bread off of the fight. Am I not mistaken? So I mean, both kids are being fed. And what is he not saying? What are they not sharing with us as boxing, as we are a part of the boxing community? What is it that makes y'all really not want to fight? Is it the fact that Keyshawn maybe could beat Shakur? Shakur, or maybe Shakur can't beat Keyshawn? Like what's truly behind the scenes? And again, he don't have to share it, but if we brothers in the same division, at the end of the day, we should be able to slap the hell out of each other and say, "Man, that was a good slap, bro. You slapped me a little bit harder than the thought I was gonna get of it, but at the same time, you slapped me harder. You won. It is what it is. We still brothers. We both still getting paid. We both still bona fide superstars, or however they want to put it. But at the same time, it's like y'all won't fight just because y'all choosing not to fight. What if y'all become mandatories? Y'all just gonna say F it and leave it what it is? You know what I'm saying? And just because y'all cool, y'all train together. And yeah, I don't know how the story goes from them being younger, but does it have to something to do with that? I'm not understanding the situation. I don't think y'all not blood brothers. Y'all haven't shared any crazy piece of history that just left y'all lives 100% intertwined for the rest of y'all days. I'm not understanding the situation. And like I said before, if they not gonna fight, cool. Say y'all not gonna fight, leave it at that. Don't elaborate, because the elaborations just sound like a bunch of excuses, in my opinion. And we touched on these bases before about this topic. It is what it is. If you in my way, I love you to death. You my bro. But one of us got to be crowned the better fighter in this division. And if we both in this division and you number one, I'm number two, vice versa, hey, both of us want to be at the top. Both of us want to be that shining bright star. Both of us want to get our name, excuse me, in the Hall of Fame and whatnot. Let's just get it out the way. I don't care if y'all go in there and pitter pat the hole. Just get in there and show the world who the better of the two is, and go about y'all business. Still be brothers. Still go see each other's children, family, whatever. Both of y'all gonna get paid in the situation. So I'm not understanding. And again, I'm not gonna harp on this too long, but at the same time, say what you gotta say, Shakur, Keyshawn, and leave it at that. Quit the elaboration on it. Just say y'all not gonna fight. Matter of fact, when y'all get on interviews, tell people don't even bring up the topic because y'all not gonna fight. Stop elaborating on something that's just not gonna happen because obviously it's not. But in my opinion, I think they gonna come across that path one way or another, whether they believe it or not. And I believe that at that.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's getting sad, man, to the point where I feel like boxing is not in good hands. And I mentioned this on my channel, man. Is you got these young fighters who are supposed to be the future, who are supposed to be the guys who hold our great sport um in high regard, and it's not looking like it's gonna be left in good hands. You know what I mean? You look at even Terrence Crawford, L. Spence, like L. Spence even admitted like he's cool with Jamel Charlo. But he said, man, y'all put that right money up, yeah, I'll fight him. And they boys, they talk about business, they talk about their families, they talk about other personal, like they boys. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason I'm bringing them up because they not really brothers. They not really brothers. They look at each other as brothers, but they have an understanding that, hey man, if they put that right money up, hey, we're gonna have to do what we're gonna do. We have to put our differences aside, put our friendship aside to get this money. And like Coach brought up, man, this opportunity to feed your families. You got what I mean? Who knows? That might be a big mega fight one day. If and I mentioned this on my channel. If Coach B a champion and I'm a champion, and I've known Coach B since I was a teenager, and they said, "Hey man, we're gonna give y'all $20 million each, guaranteed, to fight each other, and then we're gonna give y'all, the back end money, the pay per view money." I'm fighting Coach without a heartbeat. Hey, bro, I know you're my boy. We got a podcast together, but hey, we got to get in that ring. They talking about $20 million a piece.
and the
We gotta
back.
get paid. We gotta get paid.
So
Like no ifs, ands, and buts.
hey, we just not gonna talk for 3 months, because we gotta train for the fight, and then after the fight, whoever win. Hey, bro, in round 6, when you hit me in my eye, man, I couldn't see. You know what I mean? And like, hey, it is what it is. We gonna we gonna do what it do. But this whole talk from Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, and all these little young fighters, the only young fighter I hear that ain't talking like that is Abdullah Mason. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only dude that's old school. Other than that, everybody friends. And quickly, what y'all gonna find out in this sport is ain't no friends in the sport of boxing, especially in and around your weight class. We gonna close that chapter. We gonna move on to the next one. Black Cops. This interview surprised me. Now I'm not a fan of Black Cops, not gonna lie. I don't have any personal issues with Black Cops. I think Black Cops is a great fighter. He's proven that. I won't say great, but he's a good fighter. I thought he was a joke at first. Um, but he was asked about Errol Spence and the Sebastian Fundora fight. Now, like I said before, Errol Spence and Fundora has not announced their fight, right? So we don't know if that's their next fight. It's rumored that they're supposed to fight each other. Okay. Um, I believe Errol Spence should take a tune-up, but that's another conversation. Black Hobbs shares his viewpoints on that particular fight, and he shares viewpoints on Errol Spence. Let's talk about it. Let's listen to what the boy got to say.
People that I talk a lot of shit about, like Boots, like Ennis, like shit, that's the same nigga. Like Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, all of them are incredible fighters, truly remarkable fighters. Okay, so like that's one thing. Like, if you want to know how I feel about Earl Spence, he's a remarkable fighter. When it comes to this Fundora thing, I see what Fundora is doing. They want to fight a slightly weaker opponent, make that fight happen in hopes of making the extra money and then fighting the main guy. I don't think that was a good idea, because anybody coming from 140 is a fucking issue. It's a fucking problem. Fundora, look, man, like, I think that he'll get his ass whipped. He's gonna get beat by Earl Spence. Earl Spence is not finished. He's not done. He's not broken. You know what I mean? He just got caught up with a guy that's been fucking trying to fight him for years. That he couldn't possibly be more prepared to fight than him. Like, that's just what it is. Like, I remember I speak about this all the time. If me and Crawford fought, he would lose. And I said the reason why he would lose is because he would lose at the signing. He wouldn't lose at the fight.
Okay. He talking some foolishness about Crawford. But, Coach, floor is yours. What you think about that?
Uh, like I say, it's not too many guys who speak, you know, in the right term when they get up there and they start speaking about other fighters. And again, just like you mentioned, Blair Cobbs is not a guy I'm too fond of. I don't have nothing against him. I don't, praise him either. So with what he said in his interview, I think is 100% accurate, especially when it comes to the Spence and Crawford situation. I think Crawford could not have been any more prepared than he was to beat Errol Spence, regardless of any excuse you can put out there and say for Errol Spence losing that fight. Terrence Crawford was 1,000% prepared in every aspect of boxing when it came to facing Errol Spence, from timing to footwork to countering to understanding what Earl Spence liked to do. Bud Crawford was prepared, and it was evident in that match, and he got the win, and it was one of those crazy wins we've seen, one of the craziest defeats of Earl Spence, and I'm saying defeat like Errol Spence just been defeated. The only defeat, what I'm saying, that Errol Spence has suffered, and it was it was amazing to watch, because it was like what could have Errol Spence done better, but as you look at the fight over and over and over, it was nothing he really can do in that fight, because Terrence Bud Crawford, like Brad Cobb said, was just 1,000% prepared. to fight Earl Spence, and it was nothing Earl Spence could do about it. But anyways, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the question. Earl Spence not being done and him beating the Pope out of Fundora. I ain't gonna lie. I said this, you know what I'm saying? I didn't say it across, any platform, but I said this to myself. I said I think Sebastian Fundora will have trouble with Earl Spence simply because the style. Styles make fights, and we know this. We can say this all day long, but when you look at this matchup between Fundora and Earl Spence, you look at Fundora's flaws. Fundora can only move in a straight path. He suffers with angles. He suffers with pivoting. He suffers with lateral movement. And guess what? Majority of those flaws that he suffers from is Earl Smith's strong suit. So again, if Styles makes fights, Earl Spence's strong suits is Sebastian Fundora's weak suits. So what do you think is gonna happen? You're gonna get exactly what Black Cobb said. Unfinished Earl Spence whooping the shit, excuse my French, out of Sebastian Fundora. And then we can even go back to the last fights Sebastian Fundora was just in. Capo mentioned this. He wasn't just in no regular, oh, I made it through fight. He was in a war. Them boys was in a bloodbath. And then not only that, he damaged his nose. And for those of you who don't understand the human anatomy, once you break a nose, bro, it's always subject to get broken again by the smallest thing. Reconstructive nose surgery, that your nose can be damaged by any little thing. You could be playing dodgeball and catch a little soft dodgeball to the face, and your whole face swollen, eyes swollen, nose leaking. So all it's gonna take is one good punch from Earl Spence down the pipe, boom, down the pipe, boom, Fundora, woozy, eyes swelling up, blackening, all that good stuff. So again, with that being said, I truly think and agree with Black Ops 100% because again, everything I just mentioned, Sebastian Fundora flaws play into the hands of Earl Spence. Now, is Earl Spence going to attack in that way? We don't know. Who's he been training with? We don't know. Is he changing his style? We don't know. But if we go off the Earl Spence of old and the Earl Spence that we all love and know that can just put away dang on any fighter, Sebastian Fundora is in trouble. Now, am I saying it's going to be easy? No, he still got to find a way because that dude is 6'6", and he's long and he's lanky. Hopefully, he's learning how to utilize his jab. Because if he's not learning how to utilize his jab, then he's gonna be in for a long fight, and he could be put to sleep in that fight. I'm just being honest. But hopefully, we do get the fight. And I'm only speaking off of what we can go off of from the past from both these fighters. And again, I agree 100% with Black Cop just said about the whole situation on what he just spoke on, from Bud all the way to Sebastian Fundora dealing with Earl Spence. I agree with him 100%.
I definitely respect it. I think Errol in for a tough fight against Sebastian Fundora. Um, I definitely could see what Black Ops was talking about. I definitely could see ways Errol can dominate Black Ops. It's just the unknown. We don't know what else Spence, as far as fighting style, what coach, all that. Now, Sebastian Fundora is 6'6". He don't fight like he's 6'6". He gets caught up in this, I want to go toe-to-toe with you. I just watched a fight with his young sister. She's now the undisputed champion. I think it's featherweight or super featherweight or something like, or bantamweight. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but
Correct.
she fights the same way. She kind of gets, she don't know how to stay long. And she gets kind of caught up in it. Oh, I gotta fight on the inside with you. And I feel like if Errol can get Sebastian Fundora to fight that fight, it kind of favors Errol. But if Fundora stays long and uses his jab and keeps Errol on the outside, he can win that fight easily. So it just depends on Fundora and what Fundora does depends on what Errol does. I think, in my opinion, if Fundora try to get in that I want to fight you toe to toe, Mexican style, all that. Yeah, I think that favors Errol. You know what I mean? Because of we just got to go off of the track record of Fundura. But I would say that it's gonna be a tough fight because every fight Fundura is a tough, competitive fight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at Fundura and Erickson Lubin when they fought, Lubin was putting hands on Fundura. You know what I mean? So it's very plausible that Errol Spence can do very well and dominate this fight. But we don't know what Errol is gonna step in the ring. We don't know what Errol, fighting style gonna be. We don't know anything. It's the unknown. But
Mm-hmm.
if Errol is able to win this fight, okay. Remember a couple months back we said that they might be trying to set up a Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence rematch at 154, right? And
Mm-hmm.
remember, we said if they would have fought at 147 or immediately went into the rematch, it probably wouldn't have did well. But look at the play, and I want y'all to hear this. If Errol Spence beats Fundura, okay, matter of fact, let's rewind back. Fundura and Crawford were supposed to be in negotiations. Crawford allowed the negotiations to die out, and he says he wants the winner of Errol Spence versus Fundura. Errol Spence now is eligible because he's finna get ranked in the WBO. He wasn't ranked in the WBO. So Errol Spence at first was not eligible to get the two belts that Sebastian Fundora has. Now he's gonna be able to get the two belts if he defeats Sebastian Fundora. So if he beats Sebastian Fundora, he's gonna be a unified champion at 154 pounds. He's gonna WBC and WBO. Terrence Crawford has the WBA belt. It sets up a rematch at 154. Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence unification.
Mm.
Do you see that being any different, and do you see the play in that? Because Terrence just allowed them to, all right, y'all negotiate. Although the WO ordered him and Fundura to basically try to come to some type of agreement.
Mm.
Don't you think it's something fishy with that?
Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely. We speculated on this early. I think we was one of the first crews to get together and even speak on it. We as soon as it started happening, I think what about a month or two later, we started looking at it and saying, we ain't getting the rematch now. But Earl Spence then got in the ring after this fight and let it be known, hey, I want to fight you. Crawford had let it be known, hey, I'm going up. You know what I'm saying? So it was already looking, it was looking spooky and fishy then. But now it's more like, okay, Crawford, he only looking for one thing, and that's a payday. And right now, I think this move between if we get this fight between Spence and Fundura, Spence wins. There's his payday right there. There's his long, deep, hard, drowned out fought payday right there, and it can happen in the rematch with these two. And I think it's very fishy, and I think if we get everything, if we get all the pieces to the puzzle put together, the right time, right place, I think it's gonna happen in my opinion. If we can get everything, if we can just get the first step to happen, that's Spence and Fundora. If we can get that to happen, I'm almost for certain we'll get that rematch. And if it does happen, I don't know. We gotta see, like you say, the unknown, the unsecurities of what Earl Spence looks like now will be a tell all when it comes to them having a rematch. But right now, if I went off of what happened back yonder, I don't know about yonder, but if I go off of what happened back yonder, then I'm gonna have to roll with Terrence Crawford being just the most prepared he's ever been to fight a guy like Earl Spence.
Yeah, I have to second that. If we just going off that last performance, then yeah. But we just have to see what Errol look like you pointed out, the unknown. But hopefully, L and Derek James can reconcile their issues, and whatever money he owe or they owe each other, whatever the case is, it gets reconciled and they can get back to business. Now,
Right.
closing that chapter, man, we're going off into the final chapter, the revelation, the conclusion.
Hmm.
Jamel Charlo. People saying he ducked Bakram Matazalov. Now, those of y'all who don't know Bakram Matazalov is, that's the one that just body bag and toe tagged Tim Zoo and sent him back down under. So, apparently, he has been Jamel Charlo's mandatory for a long time. But Jamel Charlo's been paying him step aside money. But people are saying that he's ducking him, right? Don't take my word for it, though. I want y'all to listen to this audio, and then Coach gonna respond.
Do you feel that Jermell Charlo was dunking you since he was paying you a lot of step aside money? Did he know that you would have whooped his ass too? He says he doesn't think that Charlo was avoiding him or something on purpose. It was easier for him to pay step aside money, fight for unification fights, and then build himself to fight against Canelo for big money. So he was just doing the smart business moves, and he was not like just avoiding him on purpose. I don't think so. Dude was also mentioning that Bakram basically was taking step aside money on purpose just to get easy fights. No, it was no choice for Bakram. He would never accept that. The only choice was either wait until Charlo decides to fight you or fight on his undercard for big money. So it was never his choice.
Coach, the floor is yours. What you think about that?
Oh man, like I'm gonna be honest. I'm not too fond of Baku, but I do know I got a chance to witness what he did to Timzu, and I do know who Charlo is. Now, when you mention a Charlo, let's get this straight. Y'all talking about whooping his ass? Like, well, how many guys on the market in the fight game right now? You just gonna say he could pull up and whoop Charlo's ass? Let's be honest, man. It ain't too many guys you finna mention Charlo's name with it and associate the term ass whooping with, bro. Let's not overlook who this guy is to the sport of boxing. He's a dangerous lion, bro. It is what it is. The dude. I'm like I'm trying to do this unbiased because he is from my city, but it is what it is. He's a dangerous fighter. He has an IQ, he has a jab, he has a footwork, he has a solid defense, he has decent hand speed, he has everything you can ask for in a fighter. So when we got to use the term, we got to tread lightly when we use the term whooping his ass. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, Duck, I don't know the full play behind this whole situation. Step aside money. I don't know the full play in the situation. So when we say step aside money, I'm looking at the whole situation and how it played out. Bakram say it wasn't his choice. It was either wait for Charlo, which Charlo probably wouldn't have never recognized him anyway to be on his hit list or his resume, or take the money and fight on his undercard. Both of them kind of did what they had to do. I'm gonna take the money because I'm not gonna wait on Charlo because I don't even know if Charlo recognizes me right now. So I'm gonna take the money and fight on your undercard. Charlo probably did recognize him. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the full play. But at the same time, Bakram did what he had to do. I'm gonna take the money, the step aside money, and I'm gonna fight on your undercard. That's cool with me. Let me get paid. Meanwhile, Charlo got what he wanted, which was security for the future, his payday in fighting Canelo. Now, as far as this whole quack quack duck duck, chop suey situation, I don't know. Because I would have to go back and kind of look into the history of, how long he's been his mandatory and who Charlo chose to fight, over Bakram and why. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff that I need to get to put together in the play to actually say if this was really a duck. But again, I'm going to say this and I'm going to stick by my gun. We got to tread lightly when we use the name Charlo and associate it with the term whoop ass. Then also with the duck, it's not too many times you see a Charlo, either one of them, duck anybody. So again, I'm gonna say this was kind of both of them doing what they had to do to get to the money right away. And I'm gonna leave it at that until I dive deeper in the situation. Oh, best believe, folks, I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna elaborate on this situation, and I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Y'all know me. If it was a duck by Charlo, then it was a duck by Charlo. But if it was just the right play by both of them to do at the time being, then it is what it is. But I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna elaborate on it. But I'm gonna leave that right there where it's at, K-Pro.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree. I think people need to put respect on Charlo's name. I mean, it's crazy how he lost to Canelo, and it's just like, oh, he finished, and then he lost his titles not to a fighter. He lost his titles because he chose to fight Canelo. A lot of his belts were taken from him because he chose to fight Canelo. He chose the money fights instead of fighting his mandatories, which, as an undisputed champion, I feel like he earned that right. You know what I mean? I mean, he fought everybody he needed to fight to become undisputed. He knocked out everybody who he needed to knock out to become undisputed champion of the world. All his belts that he won have been from knockouts. So you got to give this guy credit. He ain't leave it to no judges, and ain't no fear in his blood, man. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying this because he's from Houston. I'm saying this because of the type of fighter he is. He ain't dug no favor with Bakro Matazalov. And I'm just gonna be real. Bakro Matazalov is a good Russian fighter. He's strong, he crafty in there. But like I told y'all on my channel, a lot of those European fighters are they have great fundamentals, but they can't go off script. What do I mean? They're
Mm-hmm.
kind of like robots. They're trained to be strong, they're trained to be durable, they're trained to have good fundamentals. But what if that's not working?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to go in and just fight a dude, and they're not trained like that. You get what I mean? That's what separates Western boxing from, the Eastern boxing. The Eastern boxing guys, they have great fundamentals, and like I told you, they're to the T. They're programmed to fight a certain way. You look at Bivol. Bivol don't fight no other way. He fights the
Mm-hmm.
same every fight. He gonna have that pendulum bounce. He gonna use that jab, and he gonna put combination punches on you nonstop if he can. As soon as that back foot touch, he back on you. You got what I mean? Better be. He working behind the jab, and he a power puncher, so he's looking to land. They live with what you are, but they're all trained a certain way in that European style. Whereas on the Western side of things, yeah, we're trained a certain way according to our style. But if that don't work, one thing we know how to do is just, hey, you gonna have to go in there and fight that boy. You gonna have to go off script. And you talk about Jamel Charlo, who people forget when he was on the Round of Shields, had a boxing style. He wasn't knocking people out. He was outboxing and outclassing guys. Then he got with Derek James, and Derek James taught him how to properly throw a punch and sit on his punches, and he started body bagging and toe tagging people. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a guy who was undisputed champion of the world who can go off script if he need to. So I don't, and like I tell you, I don't think any fighter, and coach was a coach, he could agree or disagree with me on this one. I don't think any fighter who has fought in the amateurs or pros is afraid to fight. You may get nervous, but you're not afraid to fight anybody. I don't
Mm-hmm.
believe that. All the rounds you done sparred, all the people you done fought, I'm telling you, you're not afraid to fight anybody. You may get nervous as far as the event itself. It's not even the dude in the ring. You nervous about the people in the stands, the ring girl. You like, dang, man, what if I get knocked out from her? What if I get knocked out from my kids? You know what I mean? That's what you thinking about. You not even thinking about him. You like, man, I'm mama molly whop him, but I don't want to get, you know, in here and get punched to the ground in front of my kids. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So those are things you get nervous about. But like I said before, Charlo ain't dug not much as I love. He had bigger fish to fry. He did what he needed to do. He got the Canelo fight, and that's just what it is. Now look at Murtazalov now. Murtazalov got his money, but now he's getting the recognition. Now let's see if he can do something with it. We shall see. Coach, you got anything
Mm-hmm.
else?
No, sir. That's it from Coach B. You know me.
All right, already, man. We didn't talk about Shakur being too friendly. He on the friendly bus right now. We did talked about Errol Spence from Dura. We talked about Jamel Charlo and Bakaram Murtazalov. Y'all continue to support the channel. This is the Genesis. I told y'all. We not stopping. We ain't letting up. We gonna keep going. Ain't no safety on this God. We all gas, no brakes. We green light. Y'all continue to support us. I'm Boss. That's Brody. We clutched up. We clutched out. You know what we talking about. We out here.
Salute.